What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
Who are you people?
You people.
What do you mean, you people?
Think that's do you think that's because they're more coherent in their arguments, or maybe you've opened your perception up to perceive it?
No. I've never been a UFO denier. I've never been the guy that says, no, this can't exist. In fact, I've emphatically been one of the people that says this 100% is a thing.
Yeah.
But I have not seen
it, okay.
evidence that they've been here.
Okay.
Do I believe that aliens exist? 100%.
Yeah.
The odds are in that favor.
It's one of those things where how could you not? It's so narcissistic as humans to go, we're the only ones. There's no other way that there's any kind of thing like
Right.
this
Well, I mean,
anywhere.
It's
It's
not
got to
even
be
that.
something.
I mean, it's just been an accepted idea since ancient times.
Yeah.
That aliens have been a part of, and I mean, whatever you can determine aliens are. I mean, that covers that's a very generalized term.
Yeah.
Aliens. I mean, anything off this planet that has what we consider to be life is considered alien.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it's always been accepted. I mean, since biblical times.
So when it comes
Everything.
to UFOs, the fact that like, yeah, we've always been that like you hear the people talking like the Bob Lazars of the world and so on talking about how, yeah, definitely there's alien craft and all this, and it's just like I don't doubt it, but at the same time I haven't seen anything that I should bother wasting my time worrying about. Like I've never
I don't-
seen one.
Don't worry about anything, but understand that everything that happens in this world eventually will affect you in some type of way, or will affect something that will affect you. Everything is affecting you. That's why I tell people, dive into everything, man. You don't understand. Everything is connected. That's why I talk so much. Because I'll start talking about something, and they'll lead to something else and something else and something else.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, everything is connected. And that's why I try to get people to understand. We're all connected. If all knowledge is connected, we're all connected.
Sorry.
That's good. But I want to talk to Jacob, though, anyway.
Oh, what's up?
Jacob, man. So, you believe in magic, Jacob?
I mean,
What would
I don't know.
you define magic as if you could define it?
magic, like if you could make something appear out of nowhere type of thing. Like a
Yeah.
yeah.
Let me not say magic. Do you believe in the possibility of superhumans without technology?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And what
Define superhuman.
augmented strength,
Yeah.
speed, stamina, the ability to manipulate the energies that are already around us.
I mean, you see it in sports all the time. You see, like, there's
Okay.
that one freak athlete who just fucking like. There's a guy who played for Baltimore years and years and years and years ago. He could literally throw 120 miles an hour, but he had no control.
Yeah.
But his body would. That's amazing. Like if you could throw 103, that's mind blowing. It's the only guy, Ted Williams, who's like, I'm not doing this. I'm taking a day off.
I'm glad you brought that up because
Yeah.
that's what that's the one thing I always tell people about. I'm like, if you don't think human beings are evolving to be stronger and faster and everything, look at sports.
Yeah.
Go back and look at sports from the '60s and go and look at LeBron James.
Yeah.
Now, understand that LeBron James is the most well-known athlete. Go into some of these other underground sports that you don't know exist and see some of these fucking massive human beings that exist. These people that you don't think could possibly. You don't think a person that is as big as, I don't know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, but has martial arts ability like Bruce Lee exists. But these people exist.
Yeah.
In these underground places or in these countries that you don't know exist either. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are people that can do extraordinary things already.
Yeah.
And plus, I always akin super ability to animal abilities. Right?
Yeah.
Because super strength, there's apes that fucking if a human had ape strength, you would think they were superhuman, right?
No. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So what if you could consciously become in control of your animal instincts, which you already have embedded in you,
Yeah.
and train them and augment them?
Yeah.
So ultimately, like you train your body, like if you want abs, you train your abs, right?
Yeah.
But like, okay, maybe I want to train that primal instinct inside of me that allows owls to see at night, or allows jaguars to be able to smell things 100 miles away or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, you can augment those senses if you could train them.
Yeah.
You don't think you think that's possible?
I mean, yeah, it is. Like,
Do you think?
no, I'll give you, like, if I had to pick an animal, I would want to be a hawk.
Why?
I like that, being able to, like, look above, kind of like observe, and then when you see your spot, fucking just go for it. You know what I mean? Like that kind of vision and speed. Like, there's quickness and speed. Speed is like, you can go, like, your car goes fast, but like quickness is like, the moment you see it, you can compute real fast. You know what's going on. Bang! You're in action.
Okay.
That process, when that process gets to the point where it's like lightning fast,
Okay.
that's quickness to me. That's
So why don't you train that ability in yourself?
I mean, I kind of always, that's how I kind of teach myself how to do stuff anyway.
Mhm.
Like, I figure out how to do it. Then when I do it, I try to do it faster.
Okay.
That's always been kind of like the way I've
Okay.
learned
Well,
things.
when you have that mind-body connection
Yeah.
to where if you're going to do it faster, you need the body to do it faster.
Yeah.
That's not a body that does things fast,
No,
Jake.
no, I know, yeah.
Okay, so why don't you train the body then, Jake?
Because right now I'm treating it like trash.
Why are you treating it like trash, Jake?
I don't know. I mean, it's
We don't do I don't know with
I know,
ourselves.
I know.
Why are you treating your body like trash, Jake?
because I'm coming out of a pretty deep hole that I dug myself,
Okay.
and it's one of the lasting things that I'm dealing with that I'm trying to cut out of my
What's
life.
the hole? Are you comfortable talking about it?
the hole?
Yeah, what's the hole?
Oh, geez, yeah, I guess, but it's I don't know. I had a bunch of shit happen in a very short amount of time,
okay.
and it kind of like knocked me on my ass, and it
Okay.
made me afraid of life
Are
for
you-
about 2 years.
Okay, are you back up?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I'm on the up, but
Are you running from your problems or are you dealing with your problems?
I'm figuring out a way how to deal with my problems.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to like.
That sounds like are you figuring out a way that sounds like a scapegoat?
No.
Are
like,
you dealing with your problems or are you prolonging it by trying to figure out a way?
I try to figure out a way, like a plan, right? Say said problem. Like, let's take smoking.
Is it financial or is it like
a little bit? I mean, as far as what, like financial, we're talking about.
like you got debt? Is that incorporated?
That is on my mind. For
okay.
Sure.
Well, that's just a little bit. You just pick at that. You just
Yeah.
whatever you got, throw it down. You
Yeah.
got to start cutting out those things you don't need. You got to start like this is where the restraint comes today. You
Yeah.
know you like to do these things, so it's like I don't need to do these things. I need to pay this debt off. So that money you put those things on, start taking a little bit. Okay, I'm not gonna drink that beer. I'm gonna
Yeah.
take this $1 something. I'm gonna put it on this debt, and you'll chip away at it. And like I say, you'll be here on Earth just
Yeah.
not doing shit, and that debt will slowly be going down. 5 years from now, you'll look and it'll be gone.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that is a vibration that you carry with you, and you know it's there. You're not consciously thinking about it because it's
yeah.
your subconscious, but you know it's there, and it's bugging you. It's zapping your energy. It's making you tired.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm telling you, take care of that little shit like that.
Oh yeah. I've done it before where I've had like a long-standing debt that I had,
Mhm.
like I don't know, I owed DirecTV $500, or I had some student loans when I first went to college, and I worked $1,500, nothing big, but like I put it off.
Dude, you are preaching to the
Yeah.
motherfucker. I was
Yeah.
the king of getting my car repossessed. I did not pay bills. I was
Yeah.
just like, fuck this shit, because I knew, and it wasn't even like I didn't have the money. I just was fucking my money off, and I knew I could always get the money.
Yeah.
But that's just how fucking much I didn't give a fuck about myself.
Yeah.
I just didn't give a fuck about myself. That literally was me not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
And because I had all these contingency plans to get myself out of the bullshit I got myself in, I never developed the strength to not do those things that was pulling me back.
Yeah.
I've spent so much fucking money, fucking shit off that I could have used for other things. And as an adult, I have to pull myself out of that. And I have been for the last few years. And it's like I'm almost done. So
Yeah.
it's like I'm cool now. Because I want to have that ability to just go get stuff. Because credit becomes important at the end of your life. When you're younger, you work as much as you want to. That's fine. But when you get older and you just want to go get some shit and you don't want to work all the motherfucking time, you just go get it and you just pay it off. They trust you to pay it off.
Yeah.
It's just a part of the system. So you might as well utilize it to your advantage.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, no, I mean that, and like I'll give you for instance what I'm talking about when I say that I'm trying to figure it out. I want to quit smoking. I fucking hate doing it, but it's a thing. It's just the hook's deep. I've tried multiple times to quit. I mean, more times than I can fucking count.
We talked about this
Yeah.
with Jermaine.
Yeah, what you mean? So the thing is that every time I've gone into quitting, because I've tried quitting at least 20 times, I always go into it like whole hog. Like, this is it. I'm gonna fucking do it. Like, I'll brag about it. I'll make a Facebook post. Today I decided to quit, and it will last about a week, and then all of a sudden I'm just like, I want a cigarette. And when you ask someone for a cigarette, they're not gonna. Most times they're gonna not say no. They're gonna be like, yeah, sure, here you go, man. And then you light it up, and you're like, okay, this is all right.
And you're hoping they say no because now you want to put your responsibility
Yeah.
in their hands to say no.
yeah,
I think this is a fairly recent, because I've been thinking about this as well.
yeah,
Is you encounter times where there's nothing to do,
yeah,
and you're like, go have a cigarette.
yeah.
Like, that is what you do with that time. And yeah, there's a lot of time where I spend the 5 minutes or whatever it takes to smoke a cigarette thinking about, okay, I got to go back in and do all this stuff.
Yeah.
But there's so many other times where it's just like, I don't have anything better to do. And that's the thing I'm currently trying to wrap my brain around, is the fact that there's plenty of things that I can
Yeah,
do
exactly.
that are
Yeah.
that are beneficial to me, that I could be using even those 5 or 10 minutes for, but I don't know what they are.
You can
They're
stretch.
not-
You can stretch for 5
right,
minutes.
you could
Yeah.
do tons of stuff that you could just be like, hey, whatever, I want to go have a cigarette because it is like a break. Find something else that's the break. I just don't know what that is.
Read a
I'm
book.
not being
Take a book. If you're not a good reader, reading is a very good skill. I'm starting to cultivate. I hate reading. It doesn't melt well with my brain. But that's a weakness.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say, well, I'll just listen to everything audio book. No, that's me trying to escape that weakness. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to dedicate 10 minutes of reading. And then when I get used to that 10 minutes reading, I'll go to 15. I'll go to 20.
Yeah.
I'll go to 30. I'll go to an hour. I'll get a book. I'll get 2 books. And that's how you build that skill. You are an animal. You can train yourself to do whatever you want to do.
Yeah. I was talking to your significant other there about the situation, about quitting smoking. And I was just like, I'm just gonna do it. She's like, well, what's your plan? And I was like, to quit smoking?
Exactly,
She's like,
yep.
she's like, no, you have to what are you gonna do with all? Because the thing is that what you catch immediately is how much time this shit takes up in your life.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, you'll be sitting there going like, what do I do now? Well, I could have a cigarette. Nah, I won't do that. And you'll have that thought 10 or 15 times
So
in that
think
day.
about it. If you're a pack
Yeah.
a day smoker
Yep.
Oh,
and it's 5 minutes a cigarette,
Now it's clicking.
yeah.
it's an hour.
Yep.
It's an entire hour.
Now.
What can you do in an hour?
Yeah.
If you did something an hour a day for a year, you've just become a master of something.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yep.
But yeah, and then that's when I just I'm like, you know what I could fucking do? I could either, what I could do is work at work. That's the big one. At work, don't smoke at work. Just
Work
don't.
is the tough one because
But
it's like the
that's how you get-
minutes you get away
Yeah.
from, for me, it's a lot of what else do I have to do? And
Yeah.
I actually do have to, but I shouldn't do it at home. Like if I
Yeah.
found myself smoking at work but I never smoke a cigarette at home,
Yeah.
I'd be like, that's progress. That's
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
progress
What-
because I'm using my time for me.
But now I have to find a way to reallocate that time. Like, what do I- yeah.
Find a weakness
Yeah.
that you can work on
No, there's a lot of them.
anytime and allocate that time to that.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
But
5
you're
minutes.
100% right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just like, what is something that I hate that every day I'm like, fuck, I should make my bed. Every day it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you know what? I should make sure there's nothing sitting around my spots. It's like we were talking about outside on the break. It's just finding that little bit so that if there's a day that you want to take off, you can actually take it off both physically and mentally
Yep.
because you're not thinking about the things that
Yeah.
you should have been doing.
Yeah.
And you should take that day off. Though that's why on the 7th day God rested, because you should rest at least once a day. Your mental and your
Once a
your-
week.
Once a week. your mental and your physical faculties, because you should be using them all the other time. You should be constantly using them, constantly. And like I say, you should be putting things in your way. We like leisure. Human beings want to just remain and rest. And rest is death. That's what we consider. Non-movement is death. That's what we consider death. When things
shit.
stop moving, that's death.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sloth and
Your-
gluttony.
Exactly, and your body is not. Your body is meant to be challenged because it is a machine. It's the evolving machine, and you need to learn how to use it.
Yeah.
Trust me, you will be amazed at what your body can do, man. I just
It's
started
like
doing
starting a lawnmower after it's been in the garage for the off season.
Yep.
Yeah.
You always be like, you have to yank it extra times. You got to go back and be like, okay, is the oil filled? Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's the same
Hit that
idea.
fucking hit that bubble a couple
yeah,
extra
you're
times.
right. Prime it a little
Yeah.
further.
They say in the Bible.
And
you
I'm not being preachy because I'm still doing this
Oh,
myself.
we're all,
but
dude,
it's
I'm
like,
doing it too. I'm
Yeah.
just beyond where y'all at. That's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to let y'all know. It is possible. That's why I want y'all to see me at, as the potentiality of where y'all can be at. But you're going to be your own version of it. And that's why I love y'all, because I want to see that version of y'all. I
Yeah.
want y'all to enjoy what I enjoy. I want y'all to come in with the confidence to be motherfucking Jake, to be motherfucking James, and be individuals in who you are, and let me learn who that person is, and let's grow and develop together.
I think the hardest thing that
Hell yeah.
I'm working on right now is making it so when I have days off,
Yeah.
they're actually fucking days off.
You know what's
like
fu-
I don't have to do laundry. I don't, because like, and it's something, because like I am in therapy, but it was like something my therapist said is like, I was like, I come home with a lot of energy, but I want to like just kind of like sit and chill. And it was like, no, just use that energy and just delay when you sit on your ass by 2 hours.
Your body will know when it's time to sit on your ass. When you got energy, do something.
Yeah. Okay. My weekends aren't like on the weekend. It's like I have like 2 days off in the weekday. It's I call they're my
Right.
fucking Saturday, Sunday. Anyway, on those 2 days I don't do shit but sit in my room, get high, and play PlayStation for the whole time. You think like, okay, you rested, but like I end up feeling like the first day at
Like
work, I feel like shit.
Because you've done nothing respectful to yourself.
Yeah, but if I go out and do stuff, like I go out to a show, or I do
Yep.
some stand up, or I do this, or I go out and see him.
You feel good, and you feel energetic.
Yeah, and I feel I don't feel tired.
Energy follows interest. That's why I tell people, do something that expresses your internal faculties. That is what you're interested in. And if you do that, it's like a child. When children are playing, they will play all motherfucking day. When you send them to school, they go to sleep. They don't want to fucking be there. Energy follows interest. Anything you're interested in, your body will provide an abundance of energy to do those things. But when you sit at home and you're just gratifying those urges to just leisure and just
just
party and shit.
the dopamine.
Yeah, exactly. You're chasing the dopamine high. You feel terrible.
Yeah.
You feel horrible because you've done nothing to advance your body or anything within you.
And man, also something hit me like a brick. I think it was yesterday. Jerking off is fucking stupid, and I'm done.
Give me that boy. Give it to me. Oh, give it to me, boy.
I was just like, I'm sitting there one night. I think it was last night. I was just like, what the fuck am I doing?
And he's actually digging your hand like he's like.
And I'm like, this is so
Shit.
fucking dumb. Like,
I tell people, if you want to stop jerking off, go jerk off in the mirror. Sit like how you would normally jerk off in front of a computer. Put a mirror right there, and just jerk off to yourself.
yeah.
And watch yourself jerk off to yourself. Make all the faces you make. Do all the things you would do if there was not a mirror there.
Make mean eye
Yeah.
contact with yourself.
Anything you do if there was not a mirror there, be just ultimately the most sick individual you are. Ain't nobody coming home.
Look yourself in the
Yeah.
eye as you put a thumb in your own
Yeah.
asshole.
Yep. Everything you would do if that mirror was that, do that and look direct in your eyes and see if you're happy with yourself afterwards. If you're happy with yourself, continue. If you're not, then make a change. Learn how to get pussy.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, don't get me wrong. I get the occasional jerk off, but you shouldn't be jerking
Oh,
off
yeah, I mean,
in lieu of pussy.
yeah. I mean, if you got to like once every like few weeks or something where it's like,
Oh, there was 100% of
Yeah.
time when my partner was gone here for 3 years, and like there wasn't. It developed during that time, but there wasn't anything during that time that allowed for a different kind of release, right?
yeah.
there was a lot of load spilled. Like a lot. Like it was daily, probably multiple times daily. Like whatever. And it's like now it's like I'm a bit better about it. There's sometimes you wake up and be like, yo, that was a dope dream. I just gotta get that whole vision out of my head.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
that's
what
a
I'm saying,
good way of doing it.
But that's it's when you become like it's motherfuckers that jerk off 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's
I've never done more than 3.
dude, like that's terrible.
You get to 4 and dude, there's fucking like rug burn
Oh.
at that point.
some motherfuckers don't. Some motherfuckers like it like that. Goddamn it. Some motherfuckers jerk off with goddamn Brillo pads. You know how motherfuckers get down. But it's just like you're learning. I'm telling you, dude.
Yeah.
When you start to respect yourself, certain things you did will start to repulse you. You're like, oh, well, how did I ever fucking do this?
Yeah.
And then now you'll realize now I have to go out and find out the way to not do this.
Yeah.
And you'll figure it out. And then you'll start to step into other things. I'm telling you.
Like Dr. Phil says, replace something with something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you don't replace it with a good habit, more bad habits will fill that area.
Or replace it with any fucking habit.
Yeah.
You want to stop smoking cigarettes? Meth is always there.
Yeah, but
The point is like you look at that as like, I mean, that was that line that you know where that reference comes from. When Jimmy's parents left him a voicemail, that was just like, I hear you've given up prostitutes. Do what Dr. Phil says and replace something with something. So use your gym and it. But there is something to that, and it's when you stop looking at your vices as a vice and what time it's taking from you is like the perspective that I've
Yeah.
started to grow. It's like
because it takes me forever to jerk off. It's a fucking dude. It's like it takes me an hour and a half.
It's like anything else. When you take medication, your body becomes used to it. Now you got to get a higher dose. You got to get more strokes, motherfucker, because you've been jerking off too much.
Yeah, it's like
You probably over 30,000 strokes by now. Goddamn it, too many
Probably.
strokes. You gonna stroke your dick off.
don't
but-
get me wrong, I love fucking jacking off.
It's
love
a good one. A
there's-
good one is good.
There's also nothing better than
But-
like finding a porn that
Hey-
is like you're just like this. Your body literally, it's like, oh, it's harder than it's ever been.
Yeah, you like, oh, that's a good one. Shoot that. But that's what
It's like my dick head is like pressed hard against my fucking stomach, and I'm not even touching it. It's just like
This
it's
is-
so full of blood.
this is my I'm getting you pregnant load.
But that's
for sure.
But that's called treating yourself. If you restrain from doing it all the time and then you get that good, you like that it's good. Now you feel the gratification of actually doing something that you feel is adequate. But if you do it all the time, you lose that sensation.
Yeah.
That's why it's not even when you
It's-
can get
it just
pussy,
becomes
it's not good to
mundane.
fuck all the time. It's good to say I ain't gonna fuck this time because you don't want to get accustomed to getting pussy. It's just now you got the same dilemma.
Yeah.
So you want to hold off on the pussy sometimes, like, nah, I ain't gonna do this. I'm gonna rub you this time. I ain't gonna fuck you. I'm just gonna rub on you this time. But you're building that shit up. You're
Yeah.
building it up, and
Yeah.
now when you get to, it, you like, boom,
Or I'm gonna eat you. I'm gonna finger you. I'm gonna
Yeah,
get
you're
you
gonna do-
off.
exactly.
And that's
do other
that's-
things.
I'll pause.
Yep.
It's like
I'm telling you, people think dude, you got to play life like a game, baby.
Yeah.
And women like that shit. Trust me. And you just tell them, no, I ain't gonna give it to you, and that builds up anticipation for her. And the next time it's gonna be an explosion. You see what I'm
like you
saying?
definitely want the most advanced weapon to kill every boss, but you got to kill some bosses with lower level weapons and work harder for it to get all those things so that the end is a lot easier.
Yeah.
You don't want that because that's the thing. If you have the ultimate weapon, the game's too easy. If
That's
they
what I
made it-
mean.
Yeah.
Like you want that ultimate weapon for every boss, but it wouldn't be fun that way.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
no, that's the whole thing of life. That's why life has no purpose. Because if it did, everybody would be shooting for that one fucking purpose.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be fun for nobody.
Everybody wants to be the last Highlander.
Exactly. So now then life has no purpose and everybody just kind of create these arbitrary purposes. Now you have billions of purposes that could potentially be the purpose.
Yeah.
Nobody knows until they reach that purpose. Nobody's ever fulfilled their true purpose yet. So that gives everybody ability to be anything they want to be. Like people don't realize, if you didn't know Hitler, Mussolini, all these people, Attila the Hun existed, you would think they were fairy tales. These motherfuckers literally almost took over the world.
Yeah.
Like those, you can be a motherfucker that takes over the world. That's a potentiality that people don't realize.
Yeah.
Why do you think nobody has?
Oof.
I think we've become afraid of those people, and we've tried to subdue the subconscious because we know that's ultimately what produces those people. But you can't subdue nature. You can't do it, no matter
Like, there's
what.
always going to be someone that's going for it.
Because you
But
can't keep an eye on
gonna,
everybody.
nobody's ever going to get there.
That's
Not unless
no, but I think, but that's why bloodlines are important, because ultimately you get a little bit better each time. You get a little bit better, you learn a little bit more. We're supposed to learn from our past. We're not supposed to look at our past and get mad. We're supposed to learn the follies from the past and then teach our children not to fall into those pits that humanity has fallen in before, because we're supposedly progressively get better, but we progressively fall into our old habits and do our old mistakes. And we can't go into the future because we can't get past our old mistakes.
So do you think part of that has to do with that? You know, it's a fairly recent discovery for me that there's a ton of relevant U.S. history that I was just not aware
You
of.
just did not know.
Like, it was never presented to me. It was never like, hey, you should go look at this.
Yes.
Like, even to prompt my curiosity. There's a shit ton in our 250 something years that I just genuinely
Don't know.
didn't know that is relevant to some people's way of life.
Yes.
In some cases, my way of life.
Yes.
But
That's
it just blew my mind that you're just like, wow.
I seen
How-
myself going down the dark path because I was going down the I hate white people path real hard. And I'm smart and I'm funny, so I was on fire with it. You know what I'm saying? But then I looked around, I seen everybody else doing it, and I'm like, this ain't right. I know when I start sounding too much like everybody else, I'm wrong. So I'm like, let me recheck myself. And so I'm like, I don't want to be mad. I want to understand. So I changed my perspective. Let me understand what happened to white people. Let me understand what got them into the situation to where this happened. And I looked at it in a different perspective, and other things start to open up. And you stop blaming people for things, and you start realizing that we're all victims of a system that we put in place a very long time ago, and it's taken on a form of its own. That's the idea of the Matrix, and we can't control it, and we're just all processing in what's going on. And the only way we can break out of it is we become individuals and see what's going on, and we become a wrench in the system.
Like I'm a somewhat avid John Oliver viewer. I don't agree with everything he says. I'm not one of those, but he does good stories that are well researched.
I'll give him this. He
But-
shows his receipts. He has facts to back it up.
Right.
Yeah.
And
most
so
times.
and when he isn't political, I enjoy it a lot more. But one of the ones he did recently had to do with like sort of institutionalized racism. But there was a key point of this where they were talking about the Tulsa riots and all the Tulsa massacre, really, which is what happened. And they have this guy that's got like a master's and is like a well-known motherfucker, grew up in Tulsa,
Yeah.
well-educated, really took care of himself. And he was just like, I was literally 3 days younger than I am today when I found out that there were these riots literally on my block. What the fuck? And like, imagine the idea of like, I've lived here my whole life. Like, this is my community. And I never knew what happened in my community because nobody taught it to me. Because I went through public school. I went through the system.
It's not even that. And this is what I tell people. This is what I learned with the whole understanding thing. It's not malicious. People don't put these things in place because it's a malicious thing. The thing about, like I say, we knew a very long time ago that humans, we don't know what the fuck we are. We stopped asking the question, where do we are? Where do we come from? Where are we going? We stopped asking those questions. There are people that still ask those questions, and they're guiding that whole idea. So they know when they introduce things to human beings, it's a new concept. We have to learn it. We have to adapt to it. There's going to be problems, this, that, and the other. So they put processes in place that makes it easier for humans to acclimate to being human without too much too many problems. Because you see, we have the problems. But what's happening is that what they don't understand about human beings is that we're gonna fuck everything up. No matter what you give us, we're gonna push it to the extreme to where we can't take it no more. We got to tear it down. Because like I say, we built these systems, and they first of all, we don't know what the systems do. And the system binds to all the other systems. So now it's hard to just pull that entity out without affecting all these other entities. So it's like it's a house of cards. You pull one, everything's going to fall. But that's the only thing we can do. We have to let things fall down and destroy. That's the only way we can rebuild it. Us trying to perpetuate this system that we already know doesn't work, it's going to push us into a wall. And it's inevitable. We're already headed that way. You already see the difference. You see everybody becoming polarized in their opinions to where they're villainous to their neighbors. This is how society become infected with people that are willing to kill their own neighbors for an opinion that's going to die out in 50 years when everybody that has that opinion dies with it. People are willing to kill people over this shit, and people don't understand it. But it's like I say, you have to look at history and understand that this has already been done. That's why we can't get past it. We keep repeating the motherfucking same things we've done. That's why you have prophets. That's why I can probably tell you for the next 10 years what's going to happen, because it's already happened. All you do is introduce technology into it, and boom, you got the same difference.
Prophets are basically guys that see the pattern.
Yeah, exactly. Human nature is a pattern. And like I say, it's a pattern that can't be laid down, but it can be laid down because we're still moving by instincts. Instincts can be patternized. I can train your instincts, but your conscious mind, I can't do nothing with that because you have control over that. But now they're trying to control it through media, through marketing. That's why marketing is important. That's why it's so much money spent on it, because it's training your subconscious for their use, not yours.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I was in marketing classes in college, and yeah, you're 100% right.
Psychological warfare.
It's looking at, I mean, and it goes deep, and I mean, this is 15 years ago plus at this point, and just even then, the way that they would test audiences on things, they'd track where your eyes were watching on the screen the entire time. You can get a lot of human behavior out of everything marketing does.
So what? But this is what humans always find out. They found out, this lets us see human behavior. We can control human behavior with it now, and that's what they do. Now because I seen the commercial, it literally was just images and lights and music.
If you're allergic to marketing, don't take marketing.
I'm like, what is? I'm like, what? But this is what they know. This is what I tell you. It's not about if you understand it. It's not about if you like it. All you have to do is see it. All you have to do is perceive it with your perceptions, and it's going to be imprinted on your subconscious.
Yeah.
So you're going to want to have something, and you don't even know why. Like, I got a taste for a burger. Why the fuck do I have a taste for a burger? Probably because you walk past Burger King and you smell the shit they pump out.
Oh, that was a big one.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Or like the sandwiches at Jimmy John's, or you know,
or the light at Krispy Kreme's. That's another one.
Oh, and it's just one little light too.
Yep.
It's just like one red light
And
bulb.
people will lose their shit if that light don't come on
I'm
when
be
it's supposed
honest
to come on.
though, a super fresh glazed Krispy Kreme donut is pretty fucking good.
Look, it worked.
In my whole life,
It's too
in my
sweet,
whole
man.
life, I've had Krispy Kreme donuts. They're fine. But when there was a time I was in like New Haven, Connecticut, we were like, oh, there's a Krispy Kreme. Let's just go grab donuts. The light happened to be on. We weren't looking for it. Light happened to be on, and I ate a fresh fucking donut. It is a different fucking experience. I'm not gonna lie to you. It like you don't even have to bite into it. It just like falls into your mouth and just it dissolves on your palate. You're like, oh, I'm basically drinking a donut right now. Yes, it is super sweet. And all the things. Like I'll eat one donut. Like I have one donut a week at work when they bring in donuts on Wednesdays. I have maybe one. But
I used to like Dunkin' Donuts because they weren't sweet. They had a glaze, but they just They were just perfect to me, man.
There's more dough, like
Yeah.
perfectly cooked dough than
Yeah.
glaze.
They're-
It just had a little sweet
Their plain donuts are real good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like just they're plain
that
donut.
you can dip
Just-
into coffee or
But
something.
it,
It's
it was
just-
just that was a good donut, but now they're like coating it a little with like more glaze because
Yep.
of Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
It's not much more, but it's I'm like I taste one, I'm like I know it's a glaze to it now. It didn't used to be a glaze somehow. It was like somehow the sweetness was in the dough. It
Right.
wasn't like glazed dough. It was just delicious.
Well,
to
you
me.
remember even when it started at Cops, just eat donuts. Like they would literally just break a piece of donut, dip it in their coffee. Like it was you used it like a biscuit.
Yeah, and I like cake donuts. I don't like I don't like a lot of I don't even like a lot of frosting on my cakes, man. I hate those cakes that's just got piles and I'm like, this is
Yeah, no.
Or those cupcakes, I'm like, dude, it's more frosting than it is cake in a cupcake. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Who is eating all this fucking frosting, man?
I just need sugar to feed my addiction. It's also an addiction.
Dude, man.
Yeah.
It's just hard to get away because everything got fucking sugar in it. Caffeine too.
Yep.
Caffeine and everything, man. That's a narcotic, man.
Well,
We gonna,
you know where the sugar thing really started, right? Happened during Eisenhower. Eisenhower had a heart attack.
Huh?
And Dwight D. Eisenhower came out of World War II a national hero. And then as president, he was somebody that people cared a lot about. And he had a massive fucking heart attack. And it came down to the doctors at the time were like, well, he has a super high sugar diet and also a super high fat diet. And so there was this lobbying that happened between a sugar consumer but there's nobody behind fat, right? And so sugar just won out and says you have to say the fat is bad. And so for 55, 60 years, everybody said fat is bad. Fat's not bad. It's the best flavor you can get. We also burn it remarkably quickly. And all this, sugar, on the other hand, is literally a narcotic.
No.
It makes everything taste ridiculous, and it damages your system hugely. And because of that thing that happened in like 54, sugar was fine, fat was bad.
and they're finding out like about fat now. They're like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's way better.
In the last 10 years, everybody's been like, "Oh, sugar's the problem."
Oh, we've been through that. If you want to see something interesting, look up the invention of the graham cracker. Not right now. Just do your own little dive. It's very interesting because there was this whole debate over going from the graham cracker, which didn't have any sugar in it, to it was something sugary, and it was dude. It almost tore America apart. It's hilarious. Just check it out. I forgot the two people. The one dude that was fighting for it was like some religious cult leader or some shit. But he was like it's an interesting read. Just go into it.
Huh.
I'm just on the wiki page. The graham cracker was inspired by the preaching of Sylvester Graham, who was part of the 19th century temperance movement. He believed that minimizing pleasure and stimulations of all kinds, coupled with a vegetarian diet anchored by bread made from wheat coarsely ground at home, was how God intended people to live, and that following this natural law would keep people healthy. And I'm sure it goes on from there. You said, I'm not going to go.
Because it was like a battle. It was a huge battle.
I loved graham crackers as a kid. They're
Yeah.
they're great. Like I used to eat them like with nothing on them.
Because it was a war to
I make
change
graham
it to something
cracker
else.
crusts for things. Like it's a great way to do like I'll make a chocolate cake that not too sweet, but it'll fuck you up. But I use a graham cracker crust for that.
Another thing people need to understand that bread is sugar. Starch is sugar. The body metabolizes into sugar. So when you eat that, you're also eating. Your body's going to metabolize the sugar. So understand that is a big thing. Diabetics need to understand.
Correct. Same with beer.
Yeah.
Beer and bread. That's why they call beer liquid bread.
Yeah.
Alcohol metabolizes in the system into sugar.
Yes.
So if you drink a 5% beer, you drink an 80 or 65% barrel strength whiskey, your body still at the end of the day processes that out as sugar.
That's why when you get a mixed drink and they add all that other sugar into it, you feel horrible.
That's why sodas, and look, I love soda as
yeah.
anybody else, but I try to drink very little of it. I use it as a replacement for alcohol, oddly.
These are like my days. Like when I come here, I know I'm gonna smoke this and the other because I'm getting away from that too. To where it's like I want to get to a point where it's like I'll smoke for like I got a show, I'm with y'all, but like when I'm not doing nothing, I don't want to get high because it's not serving me. You know, like I use marijuana and I use mushrooms with my workouts because it makes you more limber. It's more fun. You can just kind of zone out a lot more. If you got music on, you're more into the music. You don't feel what you're doing to your body, and you have way more energy. If you want to get off of caffeine, microdose mushrooms. It will change your life.
I drink 1 small cup of coffee a day.
Yeah, I'll drink coffee periodically, but like I want to completely get away from it. Because we always try to compromise stuff. Like I'll do it a little bit. It's like no, just get it completely away from it. Replace it with something different or more healthier.
Well,
I was super late into the coffee game. Like
Me too. Yeah,
I didn't
Me
start
too.
drinking.
Yeah.
Until I was like 30.
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think I was like 27 to 30.
Yeah.
I finally I got one. I was like,
Because we
It's not
worried a
bad.
lot because we was told like coffee make your head hard. That was the saying when you was a little kid. Coffee make your head hard.
black and
Yeah. But now, dude, and that's another thing. And I always warn parents that have these kids that play video games, watch their caffeine intake because they are drinking way too many stimulants with these monsters. They're drinking caffeine. They even have like these
taurine and all that other shit.
those
they
are all
put it-
stimulants that affect the heart and the nervous system. And these kids don't need that. They are pumped full of that shit already. It is naturally produced in their bodies. And they're doing this shit to be more focused with these video games because they feel like it gives them an edge. And these kids are having heart attacks at 20, 25, 30. And it makes no sense. And it's something that needs to be looked at and investigated because it's going to be a fucking problem in the future. People gonna be wearing their bodies out too far, and they sit and they sit and then they sit on their ass all day. Their blood's not moving. It's not good to sit that long and play those games. You got to get them motherfuckers out the house, or at least get them the new VR. If you got a kid that plays video games, get them new virtual
Where
reality.
at least they're moving their
at
hands
least-
and
at
shit.
least
Like
they're moving.
what is it, Beat Saber?
Yep.
Shit like
no,
that.
they got the new one. I just came from Best Buy yesterday. They got the new one. It's literally like no computer. It's literally the thing. He like you go to the park and it's legit. They getting there. I played the new one.
I think it's interesting because so I in the last couple months got an Apple Watch.
Stop
Long
flexing.
story. I'm not gonna
Stop flexing.
But one of the things is I've come to learn is it does these rings, your health rings. One of them is just stand enough a day.
Huh?
It's like I'm on my feet at least half the day every day.
Yeah.
Then it's like move. It's literally just walk around. And then the other one's exercise is like the default. It's literally don't sit on your ass.
Yeah.
Is what they're trying to be like, great. Today you didn't sit on your ass. And I'm like hitting all these goals like, nope, this is like my day.
Yeah.
Like I've done nothing special.
Non-movement is death. You have to move as a human being, man.
And it's just interesting that the baseline is it's like, yeah, don't just sit there and do
Nope.
fuck all day.
Walk.
Okay.
Walking. If you can stand walking for 2 to 3 hours a day, you will drop all of your weight and you will be in good health. Walking is amazing for the human body. Just walking. But people can't stand just walking for hours. You can't just go walk for 10, 15 minutes. You can start that, but you want to get to a point where you can walk for an hour, 2 hours, and just be with yourself. I'm telling you, it will work wonders for your mental health and your physical health.
When I was carless for a spell, it happened a couple times last year before I got the Kia. I would have to walk to work, and I actually enjoyed it.
I did too. I
Yeah.
walked at the beginning of the
Yeah.
pandemic. I
Yeah.
was like, I'm not getting on a bus. I'm just gonna fucking walk.
Yep. Yeah.
You start looking, your curiosity starts peaking. You start, oh, who is that? Oh, that looks unique. That's something I've never seen it before. It opens up a whole new world to you because you don't realize how much you close out in cars. You're moving too fast. You're not perceptive enough. You know you're going somewhere. Your mind's somewhere else. But when you actually walk in your neighborhood and you see people, it's a total different feeling. You feel connected to something when you get outside and you do things. And you won't believe how many people never do that.
Yeah.
It's house to car. It's building to car to building. If I am walking, I'm walking to get to another building. I'm not walking for the sake of walking. I'm walking to get somewhere. I'm not just walking because there's somewhere to walk to.
Yeah.
Like you have to do those type of things, man. It's so good for your mental health.
Oh, I take different routes.
Yep.
Like, just, no, I'm going to go through this. Because, yeah, like, at first it was just like I'd walk down by the park,
Yeah.
17th up, like, basically the same way I drive. I'm just doing it at a walking pace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meet
And I'm seeing all these things. I'm
you
like,
meet
oh, what's
people,
that over there?
talk to your neighbors, man. Like I got a plan. I want to buy everybody on my block just something for Christmas, just to say, hey, I'm on your block. If you need something on here, get to know your neighbors. Walk around, let them see you, because a lot of motherfuckers only know people's cars. Oh, that car's gone. They're home. They're not home. You don't know that person in the house. You may need that person in the house. That person in the house may need you, and they may not have anybody else to call on but the person right next fucking door to them. Makes no sense that you got to call somebody miles away and you're in a community full of fucking people for help. That makes no sense, and we got to start realizing these type of things.
It's funny because, like, it is something that, like, my girl and I have been pretty good at, is at least knowing our neighbors. Like, we make a concerted effort at it. And when we were buying this house a couple years ago, and it was like an old military guy, and because the house came with like a shit ton of like fucking security and all this, and he's just laughing. He's like, this is fucking bullshit. He's like, you wanna have the best home security system in the world? After you move in,
Go say hi to your neighbor.
invite everybody over to your house, give them all a bottle of wine. Just be like, come in,
Yeah.
here's your party gift, here's who we are. He's like, your neighborhood will save you way fucking faster than any security system will.
And be
And he's
honest.
100% right. But to hear somebody say it in those kinds of terms, where it's like, I've always just tried to know who's living next to me
No,
and just be like cool with them. And he's just like, no, this is literally the best security system in the world is community.
Yep.
It's just a great way of like looking at that. It's like,
We have to start developing communities again, man, or we got to start at home first. First, you got to be okay with yourself. Then you got to be okay with your family. It makes no sense that you're better friends with people outside your home than you are with people in your home. Mend your family. Mend those ways. You got to kill that ego in your family, man. Who gives a fuck? Go. That's your first line of resources is your family. Mend those wounds. Then mend the wounds of your friends, your past grudges. Like James was talking about, when you go to sleep, when you ain't got no grudges, when you've told the truth, when you know there's nobody looking for you because you've done nothing to nobody, you get to go to sleep. You get to close your eyes without sleeping pills, without mental medication, and have a good night's sleep and wake up knowing that you don't have anything to do that came from the past. You can be in the present with no worries of the past. That's why I tell people, work on those things. Grudges. I'm sorry. Even if it's their fault, find out what you did, because you did something. And that you could have did something to make it better, or you could have cut it off. You could have did something. No matter what they did, you got to start looking at, what did I do? Where did I fuck up at? Because that's the only way you get better. Because regardless, they are who they are.
Oh yeah.
And they can only take advantage of you if you are who you are. So you change who you are, and now that person doesn't get to take advantage of you anymore.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, so you got to start doing that. Be honest. Now you don't have to lie no more. Now you don't have to. You put so much energy into keeping up lies, man.
Yeah.
Be okay with find out who you are first. Be okay with who you are, and then let motherfuckers know who you are. If they ask you, tell them. So now nobody got no shit on you that's gonna blindside you, because you already know who you are. You've put it out there, and you've told the truth about it.
Yeah.
You ain't got to worry about that shit, man. Those type of things matter. That's why I tell people that plays into your health.
Yeah.
Because what science is going to find out is that negative emotions and vibrations corresponds to the organs of the body, and certain things pollute certain organs of the body.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all vibrations, and when people, because you feel it, like I do. Let me tell you something. So me and Carrie went to Utah, and we had stopped at this little truck stop, and I was in Taco Bell. I know I have an ego problem. So we in Taco Bell, and I'm at the register, and this girl just don't give a fuck about her job. She does not care, and I just don't know what that type of stuff. That bothers me. When people do stuff like that, I don't know why, but it bothers me, right? So I'm slowly getting angry, and I feel it. It's wafting. It's like, right? But I'm in control of it, so I'm not letting it out, right? So I'm just like, okay, she's there. It takes her about 15 minutes to just even look up and take my order, right? I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, and I order it, right? And she has a little attitude. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to respond to attitude. I'm just going to order my food, right? Order my food. it's two people in the back, right? It's one dude in front of me that had the order, right? I sat there for about 40 minutes, right? I was sitting there and I was just like, it was like,
Oh, I know that. It's like you're trying to keep it like just be cool,
yeah.
but it's like there's
and-
others like, fuck this shit.
And then
Go
it's
up
like-
there and raise hell.
Then they knew it. This is the thing. And they knew it. And they kept giving me those challenging eyesight. Like, what are you going to do? Right? And it's just like, boom, boom. I'm like, oh, I'm finna fucking lose it, man.
You're like sitting there taking your
Yeah.
pulse, like
I was just sitting. I was just like, because I'm just like, let me know. And the dude, everybody knew it too. Everybody's looking at me like, is he going to snap? And I'm just like, no. I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to let, because like, this is the way I look at it. I know I got shit to deal with. But I look at them like they're going to have to deal with way more shit being who they are than if I do something. I'm no better than them. So I have to restrain myself to not be them because I add to that whole situation. I got to be better
all of
than
a
that.
sudden you become the villain.
Exactly.
It's like, and then he lost his mind, as opposed to just like, nope, he was patient. We can look at like, oh, they fucking dropped the ball here.
But I can't because you never see what initially happens. You always see the reaction. So I can't explain it to them to say like, well, they were doing. I would sound like a little kid, but they were taking their time and they was. I'm not going to sound right.
Yeah.
But it's a principle thing, and anybody in that situation would have kind of felt the same way. Like damn, what the fuck is going on to a certain extent? But that's just something that I do. If you don't want the job, don't have the job. Do everything with a certain level of excellence, and you won't be in that job that long. Trust me. People notice good work. I promise you. Always do everything in the best way you can because there are people noticing that you don't even know. You don't know people noticing it. Trust me, but they notice it. Tell the truth all the time. People know trustworthy people. I was at the court, and it's just niggas lie on the court. We don't want to call calls right the way, so we'll lie, but we see everything. So I'm on the court, and I'm just calling all the calls the right way. Even calls that we could have got, I'm calling the right way. And so what I noticed is that now when there was a discrepancy, people would ask, hey, what you say? Because you tell the truth. Now they respect me for the trust. Now I'm a person they come to.
Yeah.
That's what you get with trust. You don't have to worry about other shit. Now people aren't suspicious of you because you tell the truth. No matter how much of an asshole you are, if you tell the truth, people respect you for that. Versus they'll respect you more for telling the truth than you being an asshole. Because being an asshole is just you just don't agree with everybody. That's why I always say a friend to everybody is a friend to none. Because I got to know where your principles lie. Because if you friend everybody, then you're okay with everybody's principles. No, you have to put your foot down in some spots like I'm not okay with that. I can't fuck with you like that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the way I go, man. People gotta learn this shit. And I try to teach people this, and I come off as being this mean dude, but I'm like, trust me, it gets you in so much trouble if you don't listen to what I'm telling you and you put these things in place in your life.
Oh.
It's gonna get you in a lot of shit, and that's the whole thing is to not get the human being in trouble. Because once you get in trouble, you in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're totally right. I don't know. I mean, I'm not. I think people don't know how to appreciate that though, and that's the fucking problem. It's because they want their ego stroked or whatever. But like, I shouldn't say I'm friends with everyone, but like, I'm pretty cool with most people.
You can accept people.
Yeah, I'm all right with
You accept everybody, but friendship is different. Friendship
Yeah.
is a connection to me. Some people don't need to be connected to you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's why I kind of distanced myself from a lot of the guys that I started with because they started getting all weird, and I was like, I don't want to be. And it's not like I don't like them, and it's not like I don't think they're good comics or any of that shit. It's just like I don't like where this is going, so I'm gonna take a step back. I'm like, you do you, but I'm not down for this.
Yeah, man. We have to start demanding integrity from people.
But also, when they ask me what my opinion is on said subject, I give my honest opinion.
Yeah, tell
And
the truth.
yeah.
Be who the fuck you gonna be.
That-
Who
yeah,
gives a fuck?
That's a great point because, like, a lot of people be like, well, when you were, even if it was a good friend,
Yeah.
over time, positions change.
People
right?
change, yeah.
But if you're always honest about how you feel on a thing and their feeling on it has changed, does that really necessarily define the interaction that you two can have? Your friendship might change because you're not connected on something, but why is it always, in a lot of cases somewhat aggressive. It's like, oh, you're not on board with this? It's like,
because people become pigeonholed in their opinions because they don't give themselves the ability to believe anything else. So a lot of people believe what they believe is the supreme law of the universe, and anything outside of that is morally wrong.
but don't you think there's like, is what you believe what defines you? Because for you, and even you, and I hope me, it's like what I believe in this moment is not who I am. It is who I am in this moment, but in the next moment, I might
Maybe
have different things. But over a long enough timeline of data, that just makes me the same human that is adapting and learning and changing
But
opinions and so on.
That's the way the human is supposed to
Doesn't
be.
make me not like you guys.
Well, the thing is that also, like, I mean, the problem is too is that a lot of people will say like, "Oh, I'm for this," but then behind the scenes be like, "Nah, actually, fuck that shit,"
Exactly,
because they want to save face.
exactly,
And
that's a
I
big
have
problem.
I have no patience for
People
that. I
have-
don't do that.
But people have developed entire personalities around saving face.
Fuck that noise.
That's true.
I'm just telling you, people
Oh,
have.
I
developed
believe you, but
entire,
I mean, nah, I'm good.
But that's fakeness. That's that's phony.
Yeah.
It's
I think that there's been at least in my life, for me personally, there have been times where I definitely kind of put on a brave face towards something that conflicted me, maybe more so than I realized at the time. But on a long enough timeline, I've come to realize, like, I've come to like grips is like, no, what I said I believed, I did. I just didn't know how to believe that.
exactly.
Like, I didn't know what was going to come with that.
Yeah.
And so you kind of have to have that own internal conflict to get to the point where it's just like, okay, maybe I'm actually at peace with this or closer to at peace with it. Because my conscious brain was like all in and my unconscious brain hadn't caught up yet.
No, just this is
Or vice versa, maybe.
you have to decide. Like I say, you unattach yourself from the idea of morality that society has provided for you. You have to make your own decision. What is morally right, what is morally wrong for you as an individual, and you have to live according to what you feel is right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you have to adhere to societal standards, but whatever. But you don't have to. You don't conflict with that. But you do what you believe is right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You base that off of universal law. Like I say, cause and effect teaches you what you need to know.
Yeah.
If you right, you ain't got to worry about it. If you wrong, you got to worry about it because something going to happen. It's going to keep happening until you get it right. And so that's why I tell people, you start fixing those little things that bring about big problems because they've literally built up over time because you think if I put this in my subconscious or if I forget it or if I run away long enough, it's not going to catch me or just I can die before it catch up with me. It's always with you. It's always right there, antagonizing you, tapping on your shoulder. That's that thing that tell you you're weak, you're inadequate, you can't have that because you can't even deal with me. Why do you deserve that if you can't deal with me? I've been here for 20 years.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You got to take care. You got to kill those dragons. You got to go deep into your psyche and you win that power. That's power down there. People get afraid of that because it is. There are things trapped inside of human beings that scare us.
Yeah.
We all have things inside of us. We were animals far longer than we were human beings. That's why I say don't fuck with people because you don't know what's trapped inside them. You don't know what's coming out of them. You don't know what's going to possess them from deep inside of them. Be nice to people because all of us are battling with it. So we just got to be nice to people, and we got to allow the human being to make mistakes. We don't know what the fuck is going on. Allow people to fuck up. Trust me, but you got to know the difference between being malicious and a fuck up. Like me and Alan got into it, and everybody thought we was into it. Like, no, I have no malice against him. That's just aggression. We can wrestle and fight, knock each other fuck out, and then hug each other and go have a beer.
Yeah.
Because there's no malice. That's just aggression.
Malice is the thing that changes everything.
Exactly.
If you've got it in your heart while you're doing a thing, then that
And the malice you have towards the world is the malice you have towards yourself. That's ultimately what it is. Are we out of here, James? Let's get the fuck out of here, man. Peace.